No buzz. Coming to you live on the Government Access Channel from Mario Bagnoni Chambers in beautiful downtown Erie. It's the Taxpayers Hotline Show with your hosts, Kaz Kwiatkowski and John Steiner.
John Steiner, you're back?
Yeah, I'm back. So
I'm back.
you're back in the 814?
I'm back too, but I mean, yeah, I was out of town, and I heard you and my good friend Carl filled in.
Yeah, we stepped in and went okay. Time
Yeah.
went pretty quick.
And then last week we had it was vacation time for our engineers.
Yeah, Mike had a week off. Even Mike has a day off.
Well deserved.
Absolutely.
So we're back, and
Just keep things moving in the city. We have a caller on the air already. So
go ahead.
Go ahead, caller.
Yes, I'm calling about, is the city prepared for when the grid goes down?
The grid.
The grid, the electrical grid?
Yeah, probably not. I mean, I don't know anybody's ever ready for that.
Hell, my electricity was off the other night for about 5 hours, 6 hours. That's just because they hit a transformer.
Yeah.
Question is the city prepared for an event of a terrorist attack? City is
Well, I'm sure they do some work with Homeland, but
Yeah.
is anybody really prepared? Who knows? You know.
Yeah, I'm sure they have an emergency.
terrorist attack. What type of services and methods the city is going to implement to keep the citizens of the city safe?
Well, it depends on the terror attack. I mean, you know, most people don't think it's going to happen to a small city, so.
Yeah,
you
well,
know,
I'm sure they have some type of,
well, I'm sure they meet with Homeland
yeah,
Security.
I'm sure there's some type of policy that,
Has city council meeting with Homeland Security? Have they ever had any meetings with Homeland Security about?
No, they don't. They probably most likely meet with the chief of police, and they probably meet with, there's a regional group of law enforcement officers
Yeah,
that
that-
meet.
that has nothing to do with city council.
Yeah,
That's-
the only time we're gonna find out would be on a need-to-know basis.
Yeah.
And, I mean, that's why we have the chief, we have the county meeting with them, the various law enforcement officers with the state police. And I'm sure they meet because, I know they meet because they're always upgrading the, communication system, and that's a joint effort.
Yeah.
Okay, but the chief of police, is he even qualified to even be chief of police?
Why wouldn't he be?
I'd imagine.
Is there an educational guideline to become chief of police?
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, he's a police officer. That's the only requirement that, I've seen, you know.
I'm sure he's had so many years of experience and,
What about academically?
Academically, I have not looked at his record. Most of our police officers right now a lot of them have college education.
a lot of, but they have to go to the Act 120.
Well, they all have to go through that, yeah.
Does the chief of police have a college education?
I couldn't tell you, you have to ask him, but, I mean, is that important? My dad didn't have a college education. He was a police officer for 25 years, and he served in World War II. So I think he was more than qualified.
Well, I do have one, and it doesn't matter, trust me.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's not everything. We have a lot of police officers that have taken law enforcement. They all have to go to classes before, you know, they have to be,
They have to have the Act 120 training, and they have the other training that they have, and throughout
and
their,
there's constant re-education,
yeah,
so.
I mean, throughout it, I'm sure he's been there over 20 years, probably.
For like tickets? Okay, for like a promotion? Like, is there like a quota? Like a conviction quota or ticket quota?
No, there's no quota. In fact, we get mad at them because they don't write enough, if that makes sense.
Now,
You know,
what
come
about-
budget time, we wonder why, you know.
Yeah.
But, you know, no, they're very busy. Let me tell you this.
Please
The,
never lie on the stand.
the old police department is gone. The days when they worried about, parking tickets and noise,
Yeah.
that's taking second fiddle to some of the big problems we have now, which is,
I think our department is really, they're on top of it.
well,
I
they're
mean,
stressed. I mean, we got drugs, we got crime.
They solve a lot of cases.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, you didn't have this kind of stuff going on. You know, it's a different world today.
You know, they solve a lot of cases, and
Police authorized legally to lie on the stand.
What are you getting at?
I mean, seriously,
I mean, seriously,
come on.
what, What are you saying?
Why would you even ask that?
Legally allowed to lie when they testify.
Nobody's legally allowed to lie.
How can
Nobody.
you be legally allowed
Not
to-
one person, you lie and that's called, what's it,
Well, it would
No.
be,
Policemen would,
perjury.
perjury,
Yeah, you go to jail if you lie. I go to jail if I lie.
yeah.
has a policeman ever gone to jail from the city of Erie?
Yes.
For what?
Well, you want me to go back and look? I will. There have been many police officers indicted and gone to jail.
Sure. I mean, even they do dumb stuff sometimes.
Yeah, if you want to take the time to look it up, I mean, I know, I can't tell you I can tell you a couple of names, I won't do it over the air, that's,
Yeah.
For maybe fudging documentation.
I don't know what look, all I know is a lot of people, what are you getting, you got a specific charge?
I mean, well,
Seriously, you got a specific charge, sir?
I'm not against anyone.
Well, I mean, it seems like you got an agenda.
I mean, it's just your accusations are kind of like.
I'm a private citizen.
Yes, okay, okay, then file a complaint.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand.
File a complaint and we'll look into it.
Well, I mean, the line of questioning is kind of bizarre.
Yeah, if you got a complaint, then there's a process to go through.
Yeah.
Have the police ever lied on the stand?
How do
I
we
don't know. You have to ask them. That's what I'm sure if they were caught lying, depending on which side the argument was on, they would have been prosecuted.
Do they ever cook the books on the documentation?
You know what? If you got a specific
Yeah, we
thing,
don't know.
you better get back.
Well,
to us.
actually, time's
Meanwhile,
up,
I'm gonna say
Have a
goodbye.
good day.
Wow.
I
I mean, file a charge.
How
That's
many
it.
stupid questions can you ask in one?
I don't say they're stupid, but if he's got,
No, they are stupid. He knows what he's doing.
if he's got a problem, then file a charge.
He's just, but
Go ahead, caller.
I have no idea where that guy was coming from.
Well, I mean, if he's got a charge, and if you got a complaint, file it.
he doesn't have a complaint. He's just trying to be.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you, policemen in the past have gone to jail. I mean,
I mean, what do we know what the police do?
yeah, but oh boy, what's your question, sir?
Okay, here's my problem.
Yeah,
There's an ordinance on the books for loud noise, correct?
yes, there is.
Okay, yeah, I was just sitting in the front room. I have a room in the back, the man cave.
Mm-hmm.
Sitting in the front room the other day. I live on East Avenue, around 35th.
Right around me.
Yeah, you live about the same distance away from 38th Street.
Correct.
Then you can hear them damn motorcycles up and down 38th Street at night.
Yep, all the time.
Okay, now on East Avenue, there's cars, motorcycles, that I have no idea why they never get stopped.
I wonder that myself now. I remember I haven't looked at the ordinance. I know there is one because it passed. God, I think it passed when I was first married or something. Remember they had all these. The kids were starting to put all this stuff in their cars, the big boxes.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a neighbor.
Yeah.
He goes to work every day at 6:30. Now he lives about 50 yards away.
Mm-hmm.
He's nice looking car, but his mufflers are so damn loud, it's ridiculous.
Well, see, that shouldn't be allowed. In the old days, how are you? Probably my age, right?
87.
Pardon?
87.
Well, you're older than I am, and you remember when kids used to go down by the Hammett Hospital,
Oh yeah, Crusade Street.
and they would arrest them. They would actually pull them over and cite them. I know my somebody I knew very close, not me, but they got cited like 3 times, and
Rabble-rouse.
they used to call them what,
Rabble-rouse.
glass packs or something.
Well, motorcycles, one of the reasons why they do that, they do it purposely to make their motorcycles louder,
Yes, but
so cars can hear them.
you don't have to rev your.
Well,
what,
I know.
What he's saying is,
they like it loud.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing about a motorcycle normally, but
Yeah.
when they rev it,
Yeah,
and you can tell they're going up Pine Avenue, and they're
right.
You
Well,
know,
they
they're
put the
gunning it.
special pipes on there to make it loud. So
But I'm going to ask the chief the next meeting we have, sir.
I think the noise ordinance is by far the least.
Well, they at one time they said they couldn't do it because they didn't have the proper equipment, and I got to look at the
What,
ordinance.
ears?
Well, I have to look at the ordinance to see if there's a decibel thing in there,
Yeah.
because when you get into trouble when you make like
Yeah, right.
what one person's loud is another person's not loud.
Right.
My last comment.
Yeah.
Kudos to the Parks Department for or the streets department. They swept my street the day after garbage instead of the day before. That's all I have to say.
I have to pass that on,
I
but
mean, actually, we laugh, but
that is important.
yeah.
I'm gonna actually I'm gonna pass your comment on to the chief though and see what he says to us.
Okay.
Yeah, 'cause you know, I agree with you. I mean, it's like when people get in their car in the morning and the first thing they do is they gotta, their windows are down, they gotta put the stereo on.
If they actually enforced that law alone, well, we'd be out of the deficit.
Yeah.
Because everybody's got the stereo.
I don't think anybody.
Stereos,
John,
houses, and motorcycles.
I don't think anybody minds a motorcycle
No.
at a normal speed, but when you hear them and they're going, like,
Yeah, when
they're going through the gears and,
Yeah, I mean, some of them do it on purpose.
yeah.
Because they they think.
I'll let somebody else talk. I'm not gonna.
Thanks.
Hey,
Yeah,
thank you.
like-
Well, if you got anything more later, call back.
Yeah, if we don't have any calls, call back.
Yeah, he's got a good
I
point.
think, we need, I mentioned it before, I wish we had like the ordinance department, a phase of the police department. Go ahead.
Sounds like the old Jake break. You know what a Jake break is?
No.
Semis when they come down hills.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
That's called a Jake break. And as far as the mufflers, we used to use glass packs.
Yeah, that's why I said to John here that they used to pull kids over all the time, they're hammered.
With the glass packs, and we used to take the centers out of the mufflers too.
Yeah.
And they'd roar like hell. But anyways, I do want to take my hats off to the police department. My son told me an officer got out of his car,
Yeah.
helped an elderly lady across a busy intersection. And you never hear the good things about him. You always hear the bad things.
No, like this one guy, I said, if you got a complaint, tell me, but,
I think he is just alone too long.
I mean, he's worried about college. A lot of our officers are gone, a lot of them are college grads, and most of them are veterans, a lot of them.
Well, that's true. But the old days, you learn from on the job.
Yeah, my dad, like I tell him, my dad was a cop for 25 years.
Dad,
His education, and my uncle,
what about your uncle?
huh?
What about your uncle?
Well, both of them, they were combat veterans of World War II.
Who fits into me all the time?
You deserved it, though.
Pardon?
From what I heard, you deserved it, though, right?
Yeah, right. They were both a pair.
But look at those guys. They were all veterans in the old days,
That's true, and I'll tell you what, you can't beat that bunch.
Nah, they were a great bunch. And the new kids are all different. I don't even know half of them. But you know what? I've never had trouble with them. They do their job.
You respect them, and they'll respect you.
Yeah, I mean,
If there's times where if I tune in on the scanner and they have somebody that's running, they don't get away. They do not get away.
they're in better shape today. But you know what?
Yeah.
That's because, we've learned from the past that,
Yeah.
it's a different world today.
Yeah.
People, they see on TV there's bad ones. There's bad in everybody.
Listen.
Hey, we've had police officers in the old days that went to jail. You know what I'm talking about, right, John?
Cops and robbers have been around
I
since.
will not comment.
Yeah, but I mean, that guy was way off base. I mean,
Yeah, he's just.
Thought he was fishing.
yeah, you know what? If you know something, then make a charge.
You have a proper procedure, just like the ordinances in the book.
Right.
Half of them are obsolete.
I was.
They should be reviewed and taken care of.
Ruby started going through them one day.
My Ruby went through one, and she found out that a male polar bear can't have another male polar bear.
That's not true. That was Mario.
That was Ruby.
That was Mario when he tried to fund it. Mario went nuts with it. He says, "We're not putting that." They were looking for money at the zoo. For a breeding place.
Yeah.
And he goes, "You got 2 mils. He said, that's not going to work."
Yeah, right.
Mario's humor, but.
Yeah.
Well, that was a good piece of humor. Yeah, I saw this representation of the job salaries in the city of Erie the other day in the Times News.
What'd they say?
They said a fireman in Erie makes only $56,000.
What did they use for the criteria, though? How many years on the job?
They use the whole segment of various occupation, nurse.
Yeah, but I mean, how did they figure a fireman's salary? How many years did they figure?
That might be the average.
They didn't figure it. I think it was just I think the salary was around 56,000.
Well, we have what they call a Class A patrolman and a Class A fireman salary.
What? True.
It's what they base. It's an average salary. It has something to do with the pension and all that, and that could be true. But when you put in all the bennies too, it's a very good paying job. But then again, how many people want to do it?
I won't say what the average salary of a fireman is or a police officer is, but it's darn near six figures.
I don't know about that, John.
Well, I don't know if it's that high, John.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that high, John.
Maybe after a number of years with a rank increase, and then if you include the total package, meaning
Yeah, if you did that,
meaning
then
the
yeah.
pension, the health plan, and all that.
I don't think it included the health plan,
Well, I'll tell you what, I have the numbers at home. I don't have them here right now.
but you can pull it up on the
But,
screen.
but when we do the budget, that's one of the figures that we get is
When I looked at the
the
budgets,
total cost of like outfitting a fireman and a
yeah,
policeman.
well, if you're gonna add all that, but I think the salary, I would say,
At all that, they'll be making almost $175,000 a year.
Well, here's the thing: to put one man on the street, you got to put three men on the street.
True.
Okay, so
everything is 1.33%. So whatever salary, let's say you make 50K, Kaz,
Yeah.
you add 1.33% to everything. That covers all their benefits.
I mean, if you look at a fireman, we pay for his gear, and that's not cheap. Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, when you look at the volunteers, they raise funds. Well, the city pays for it. So.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
isn't the pension figured on your last 5 best years?
No, the pension is figured on your highest salary or your last 5, I think it is.
With excluding overtime.
Boy, it varies with every.
With every company and
No, it varies with every.
whatever it is.
Police and fire are different than what they call the blue collar and the at will and elected.
True.
Your white collar, So there are complicated formulas.
That's true. One more quick thing. I'd like to take my hat off to the police officers again by St. Luke's.
Yeah.
They had their guys out today, and they really had quite a few in the school's parking lot ticketing them.
Really?
Well,
What?
that's their favorite.
They were looking for
traps.
speed.
Yeah, they had the sensor, I think, on Sunset Boulevard.
Well, the speed on 38th Street gets pretty wild.
Well, I don't think there's a speed sign on there. That's a route sign.
Yeah, but I mean, the speed on there is like sometimes tantamount to being on a highway.
Well, that's an ideal place to put a speed trap because
Well, I'll tell you what, some woman almost rear-ended me. She was going to Tim Hortons, and you couldn't believe it. She's giving me the old bird of paradise and everything else, and just glaring at me. She whipped out in front of me and spiked her brakes, and she's lucky that I have a cool temper these days, not like my old days.
What, you thought you were going too slow?
she's lucky you didn't go old school on her.
And I was doing like 32, 33 miles an hour.
Yeah, you're going fast enough at that speed,
Oh, sure you are. So I don't know how the state ought to come in and reevaluate that.
Well, that's the trouble. There's most policemen, they realize that there's an adopted speed, even though the ordinances say one thing.
Yeah.
As long as people aren't abusing it.
Like at 65, come on.
Control or
70.
whatever,
65
all
means
works
70.
there.
But I mean, going 70 in a 30-mile zone, that's going to get you into trouble.
That'll get you a little.
But if you go 5 miles over,
they don't care.
That's a leeway because of the odometer. You don't know if it's true or not.
Yeah, and then again, people have everywhere pushed up the speed limit a little bit. As long as they don't push it too bad, I don't think anybody's worried.
Right.
We used to send our executives' cars down to Briggs and Hagenlocker to have them put right on the money.
Oh, I remember that. The state police used to go down there. It was funny watching them.
Yep, they put them on that machine and check it out, and the tire size has to do with it and everything else. But you guys have a great sunny day. I'm going to have myself a nice little piece of cheese with a little fermented grape juice.
Well, you know what? I think I was going to come over for some Some of that, what was that, black Sambuco?
Okay.
Oh, he's got the good stuff, the black one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my ice cream syrup.
Yeah, that's what he calls it, but,
It was good, wasn't it?
well, when I used to pay my rent, I never could make it up the stairs at the old rental place.
Jeez.
My landlord used to, treat me to that once in a while.
Yeah.
We're good. We're good that way, so
That Italian coffee, that will kill you every time.
have a great day.
Thanks. Guys, they have a problem.
What?
That was, the Roar on the Shore.
Yeah.
I bet you they wish they came down here now. I went out to Peak and Peak.
Yeah.
Saturday night. Let's just say that the main route between Erie and and the Speedway,
Pretty rough?
it's more than rough. It is under construction and it is a complete nightmare.
Yeah, I heard that some of the roads were not too great up there.
Not too great. They have them ripped apart. My vehicle, it's not a motorcycle.
Yeah.
It's dirt, dust.
What route is that?
I-86.
Oh, 86.
Yeah, 86 is a
How was this
complete
on there about a
nightmare.
year and a half ago? Must have really went bad.
They never. Well, you know what? They never do. They never take care of I-86, and you want to know why that is?
Why?
Because the Indian reservation is there. They don't pay taxes, and there's a fight.
Yeah,
the state and the Indian reservations. So they're like, oh, you don't want to pay taxes? Okay, we won't do your roads.
Yeah, I think you're right. I read about that.
Absolutely right.
And they're
about
having
that.
another problem up further north, like on 90 too.
Yeah, over there by the Silver Creek area.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised how every road and every highway in New York State is magnificent.
That's a shame, ain't it?
It's a shame. But I'll tell you, when you look, when Senate was here, then they rode those, there was one road that you knew for sure was gonna be paved.
Well, the state even
And
did,
that was the road up to,
well, remember the state even did all the interchanges?
yep. That was the city and the state worked together to get the route from the casino down here. It was always asphalted, the road was taken care of. Now, they have trouble. They got problems. And not only that, not only is it not in our county or this community, I-86, most of it is in a different state.
Yeah.
So now we're talking other states, getting other states to get involved in something.
And well, remember the old joke when 86 was 2 lanes up to the New York state line?
I don't remember it, but
And
I'm sure.
Pennsylvania was 1?
Yeah,
So the state had no vested interest to really do anything?
Yeah.
Until people complained and said, come on,
Yeah.
Because it benefited New York more.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
you go on 1 lane and then all of a sudden.
oh, yeah, right.
Well, 2 lanes, but then,
Yeah, but they have serious trouble. I'm telling you, it was, I wouldn't ride a motorcycle on there. I mean, the dirt, the dust.
they had their chance.
They did. I mean, it was greed. I mean, how do you not pay? Shepard, give us half. How do you not give half?
And the Gears and Grubs, from what I understand,
They're paying it all.
I was there today, they
How do you go from that to we'll pay it all? How do you go from we're not giving you half to we'll give you it all? I mean, how does that? So
Yeah.
obviously, there has to be some type for the Gears and Grubs to come in. I mean, the business. I mean,
they're happy.
absolutely, they're happy. We talked about them moving down here before they even announced it.
I think they're looking for ways to not kill the other merchants too.
Yeah, I mean that's.
People forgot that there's other merchants that don't benefit from Roaring the Shore.
I don't care if it's called Roaring Shore, Gears and Grub, Motorcycles and Brews. I don't care what it's called.
Oh, we'll see what happens.
I'll be down here.
We'll see what happens though. It'd be interesting,
Well, I mean, I don't think people. I think people don't care what it's called. People don't. Part of the reason that people come here, sure, it's.
We'll see how big Gears and Grubs get.
Yeah, I mean, if they're here for the water, they're here for the park, they're here for the taverns right along the when they cruise their bikes through. I mean, honestly, don't be surprised if they're still start charging for parking up at Erie Speedway. They're going to charge these motorcycles. to park.
First of all, the problem up there is they're renting the facility. Okay, they didn't rent the city. That's obvious.
Yeah.
If
If they would, yeah, exactly.
see, why don't people see that? And the people are getting over the city. You think that they're getting the up there for free?
They're not getting nothing for free. And I'll tell you what, they're not even the infrastructure. They're not ready for it. I mean, just the roads alone. I mean, they're gonna be, and you're driving more rural.
But who is it? Nationwide or all
If
states
you
gonna
have to,
back them?
with I-86,
Yeah.
just a total disaster. that means they're gonna have to take these rural back roads. And that's where you end up with serious accidents.
You know, we'll see what the effect will be on the townships.
That's where you end up with head-on collision, deer.
Well, we'll see what happens with the townships. You know, how they,
The state boys, we'll see how the state boys, they'll send them a bill, and if they don't pay them, they'll come and drag them off to jail.
I imagine,
And well, actually.
I don't want to say anything on the air because, you know, I'm betting that it's caused a lot of,
Yeah.
reassignments with the state police.
And a lot of it's in New York State too. So
And they're gonna have to be on the alert too now.
yeah. So not only are we talking Pennsylvania State Police, we're talking the New York State boys. I don't get it. I don't understand. Over peanuts.
Yeah. Well,
Really?
that's what happens, you know.
Greed.
Everybody loves the city, but they want to take advantage of it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know what kind of arrangement they had with Joe Sinnott. I know Joe was heavily into it. I
Well,
don't
I
know.
mean, that's okay, but you know what, after a while, I think what really stroked this was when, people were given raises to run it,
Yeah, yeah,
and, you know, all of a sudden it looked less like a charity, and,
yeah. It was a for-profit.
yeah.
And then it was a for-profit thing, and then all of a sudden, they don't want to work with the city, who provides
And nobody's irate that the people that were there were not even in-town people,
yeah.
like the food vendors. you
yeah,
know.
and the vendors aren't even from here.
But Gear and Grub, that's mostly local people.
It should be, better be, it was out there, allegedly. Well, we'll see how that goes. I mean, I'm not a biker, but a lot of my friends are, and I mean, I liked it,
Yeah.
coming down here. I mean, it was cool coming down
I'll be
here.
truthful, I never went to it, but then
I did.
again, I'm not
not-
into the,
Listen,
what do you call it, the celebrations as
yeah,
much?
I'm not a biker guy, but a lot of my friends are, and I would come down here, and it's pretty cool. I mean, actually, you know, the guys are good, the motorcycles are pretty cool to check out. They have different styles, different types, and it's a really good time down here, and it did bring a lot to our community as far as,
Well, it helps,
money.
it helps some people, but
Yeah.
it hurts some people too, so.
Yeah, but overall, in the big scheme of things, through a countywide thing, it brought a lot of business to the city.
But for those people that wanna see that stuff, and I say to them, okay,
Yeah,
then help us.
yeah,
You know, if, for instance, a very small thing, we have a few hotels, but most of the hotels are out in Summit, right?
well, if anything, the county,
You know,
they're the ones that benefit from the county
well,
tax.
like most of the motel
hotel,
rooms are out in
yeah.
the county,
Absolutely.
and we don't even get a room tax.
The city, why don't, Joe give Kathy a call over there and talk about splitting the costs?
Well, that's what it should be.
Yeah.
I mean, either that or, and what did the hotel say? Well, we don't really need Roaring Shore because, and you know what? I know that's the truth because you look at these rooms,
They're sold out.
with or without Roaring Shore.
Absolutely. They are sold out. I don't know what it is. I mean, Erie, whoever's running the Visit Erie thing, I don't know.
Well, I think what it is, John, you take, if you're traveling, and I do the same thing, you look for kind of a big city.
Yeah.
Well, you know, something that's got a little life. And
Yeah.
I'm not making fun of it, but like if you're going to, you know, if you're traveling east, you look at someplace like Williamsport or,
Yeah.
you know, if you're between, right? You'd rather stop there than, cause you want a place where you can find something to
Yeah.
get some food, do some, right?
Erie's good.
And Erie's what, you know, John, look at it, position.
Yeah, between
know.
Buffalo, Cleveland.
And then you got like, I was amazed, I was at the fireworks, my grandkids came up from Mississippi, right?
Yeah,
So we were at Waldemere, we were at, fireworks,
right.
even at the breakfast place. I was amazed. No, I shouldn't be, I mean, but I was amazed that, after I talked to the people, you know, where they came from,
Yeah,
a lot of them are from the Pittsburgh area.
yeah, that's where most people.
One person pulled up and I felt bad for him. They thought they could camp on the peninsula.
No,
And I said, no, you probably have to go back to Sarah's, but he said Sarah's was,
it's packed.
yeah.
You have to have reservations to stay there.
And I told the kid, I said, you know, this is July 4th.
Yeah.
I said, good luck, you know, but I said with a tent, they might be able to fit you in with a tent because it's not like a camper, you know.
Yeah.
But here, the same thing though, when you looked at these people, I mean, Waldemere, right?
Yeah,
A lot of people come up here you know, for many reasons.
Yeah.
But a lot of people passing through, when you pass through and you go, down 90, let's say, and you go, do I wanna stop in Buffalo?
Yeah.
Wanna stop in, maybe I'll stop in Erie, not quite that big, but big enough. And you look at the number of hotels you got.
Right. You know, one thing I've noticed, Kaz, like sometimes at night I'll take a ride down the dock.
Yeah,
What I've noticed a lot more within the last year or two is that there are a lot more people down there just sitting on the dock enjoying the scenery. Whereas that just tells you that we have a lot more people coming in. I mean, there are a lot of people down there at night.
and I think, John, if you go to Chicago,
You know,
I'll say that one because that comes right top, and San Diego's the same way.
the piers,
Yeah, I mean, when, you know, we got walkways, but we don't have anything on them. When the plan goes through
yeah.
and we commercialize it a little bit, which I know some people don't wanna see, but I don't think it hurts to have like, what I call the little candy peanut wagon there,
Yeah,
the icy, the slushy,
yeah,
you know, the little, like, little
Yeah.
food vendors, right?
yeah,
And people like to walk along there just like they do Chicago. You know, I'm not against, as much as some people are, you know, the Ferris wheel idea.
a lot of people hate it, but I really like it.
I mean, you know what, they got one in Chicago. We don't have to have a huge one.
No,
And she never said, Brenda never said it's gonna be a Ferris wheel.
yeah,
It could be just something else. But the whole point is, you know, when people go down that tower, they go down the museum, let's say, maybe, we don't know, they're in the hotels,
Yeah.
right? And you go down there, and I think, like you say, I can remember when I was a kid, you went into the park, you had the peanut man, you had the ice cream guy, you know, people sat there and watched the water change colors.
yeah.
We can still have that.
And they do sell the stuff, but it's inside, and you can't really,
No, I mean, it'd be nice, like, if we, like the walkways.
Yeah.
You know, when they get, like, when, you know, I'm hoping, you know, Nick follows through with his plan, GAF gets developed,
yeah,
and, you know, the people walk, like, there's people come out of the hotels, you know, they don't wanna drink beer all night at the bar.
right,
So, you know, you look at the beautiful water.
Yeah.
When we had I remember we had the League of Cities up here, and people from not even as far away as, like, Kane and St. Mary's and Warren, they had never been up here that much. They saw the new waterfront, the water taxi that took them,
yeah,
you know, they used it for the conventioneers.
yeah,
They were like, they look at us like, you got this beautiful thing.
yeah,
And you know what? Some people, you know, they come out of their room at night,
yeah.
and you wanna take a little walk up the pier, right? And if they knew they had a little, let's say a little coffee shop, a little,
One thing I like about the Ferris wheel, even if it's just not, you know, a Ferris wheel, if you're not a Ferris wheel person, I like something where kids and families that are driving along the peninsula,
yeah,
when they look over to Erie and they see, and kids in the back seat see that Ferris wheel,
yeah,
and they say to mom, let's go over there. What's over there? What's that over there?
yeah.
And then what happens is it has a residual effect. So not only or next time or even the following day, they take a ride and say, what is that? What's going on over there? So it brings them and their dollars into the city to spend
And
money.
you know, you look at the Princess, you look at, I can tell you, fireworks night, we're gonna take the kids on the the Princess was out of the question, book solid.
Yeah.
So then we looked
Oh,
at the
yeah.
other one, what was it, the Scallywag?
Oh, the Scallywagger,
Forget that one.
book solid.
Yeah, and I go, you know, but we didn't know they were coming up like until the
Yeah.
last minute. But that just goes to show you that,
Yeah.
you know, if you have enough attractions down there.
Yeah.
You know, people they go to Scallywag, they're waiting around to go, maybe we should go up in the tower and take a ride on the.
You know, I'm not too keen on the idea of the Port Authority shutting down the traffic to drive around. One thing I wish State Street really wouldn't have done
Yeah,
was put the stuff in the middle of the street. You know, I mean, I know that's what they say to do, or I don't even know what the bookie
well, you know, there's still,
study says to do
there's
that.
still time, John, to do all that. But, you know, developing the water, you know, I can't remember how many, I was talking the other day to a nurse that lives out in the county. And she was talking about how the only problem they have is like parking, but her and her husband decided to, try out the new floating bar
Yeah.
and the rum runners,
Yeah, I was
the old rum runners, right?
Yeah.
And I'm going, you know, if you, like, you know, the plans they got, I mean, I wish they would've kept McAllister and fixed
Yeah.
it. But if you got some kind of stuff down there, people love to have, food and beer, drink wine by the water.
Listen, I was down there last week, not this weekend, but prior, I was at Rum Runners and at the, Floating Bar.
They probably did good, right?
Yeah, it was packed. They have, people, you know, how this year, I think, was it this year? They have people that, there's no parking out there. So parking is becoming an issue, you know, when
Me down the dock. Oh, yeah, that's what I
where
heard.
you would come, you know, like where you would go out onto the east slip and right where McAllister's is.
Yeah.
They have people standing outside telling you there's no parking out there.
Well, you know what's gonna happen, like, well, Nick's got, you know, long-range plans, he had, some parking built into his thing.
Yeah, so I don't know how.
Whether it happens, I don't know, you know.
There has to be there has to be.
But-
Especially if they take away, what, 30, 40 spots off the dollar.
What is it with the, Sheraton one, is that pretty expensive?
The Cove?
No, I mean, where the Cove is that rent pretty expensive?
I don't really go in that one.
But I mean, people in Erie are gonna have to get used to the fact that if this takes off,
Oh, you mean the park there?
yeah.
Oh, no, I don't park in there.
But I mean, like, when you go to Chicago on Navy Pier.
Yeah.
I mean, you just resign yourself to the fact that,
$15.
I mean, no, well, you're gonna have to go into the ramp,
Yeah,
you know, and because, I mean, in probably in Erie, if you start talking about number of people that, you know, if you start adding establishments, like, you know, it took us, and I give the guy credit, it took us about 3 years to get through all the paperwork with the Coast Guard, with everything, to get that floating bar going.
well, you know, people have no idea, like for the fireworks and stuff, what dynamics goes on.
What David will tell you that, you know, Rocco,
Oh, yeah.
that, you know, it's not just, you know, you
When I
decide,
did the Perry 200, you know, the county fireworks, I had 3 different places. I had the red tape,
well, you got FAA, you got Homeland Security probably, you got the Coast Guard, you got locals, you know, Port Authority.
fire and
Yeah.
ambulance.
I mean, that's why people say, well, you know,
Yeah, just throw off some fireworks. It's not easy as just going to the store and
but
getting
I think,
some snakes and sparklers.
I have hope that, you know, the Bayfront gets developed.
Yeah.
And there's room for everybody, you know, and I agree with Eddie Kissel too. We gotta keep it open to,
Yeah.
you know, the guy that just wants to go down there, and I think we can do that, you know.
You have to there has to be some type of a happy medium where the average guy can just go down there with his pole and throw it in the water wherever he wants.
I mean, I was golfing the other day at that Harbor View, you know, with my
Yeah.
grandkids.
Really?
And I look out there and I said, man, you know, what's that building? And it dawned on me, it looks so close, that's Scott's
Yeah.
hotel, right?
Oh, you can see it?
Well, I saw it, but I mean, it's really close from her place.
Yeah.
And I go, holy crow, I said, you know, the waterfront is really, you know,
Yeah. I think there's a lot of potential down there.
and that one's gonna have a bar on the 8th floor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I mean,
Well, I want rooftop bars.
but I think that, you know, I talked to a few merchants off the record.
Yeah.
You know, I said, now that Nick's doing it, and now that, Melody's doing it only on the
They've
parking
been-
ramp.
I was gonna.
That's not a big one, but I mean, height-wise,
They're having
but
problems with that.
they are?
Yep.
What is it?
I don't know, I was talking to,
Is it gonna happen?
I don't know. It hasn't happened yet.
Is it money problems or?
I couldn't really get into the details.
tell
I
me
didn't-
later.
No, I mean, I couldn't get into the details.
I mean, is there a
with-
big hangup that's insurmountable?
I don't know if it's insurmountable or not, but I was briefly talking to, Russ Stackwitz.
Yeah,
You know, I ran into him and, you know, I'm like, what's going on with the bar down there? And he's like, we have issues. And I'm like, oh, no.
with the
And then
state or with the?
I couldn't really get into any
See, because
further details.
what's gonna happen with rooftops, if we ever go that direction?
Yeah,
When you go to Chicago, in big cities, they build the buildings like Nick is,
yeah,
with that in mind.
yeah,
So what you do is you build the components, you have, glass windows if it gets windy,
yeah,
you have the safety features built in.
yeah.
If you're retrofitting an old building, it becomes difficult because, you just can't put people on a roof,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
That's not gonna work, you know?
There has to be, it has to be probably built in with the initial specs.
I saw one where they filmed Batman in Chicago. We stayed in that hotel, and they had a thing they could use with temporary, railings, but they decided they wanted to open it up on a regular basis for like renting out.
Yeah.
So what they did, they had to come in and put, you know, high glass
Right.
walls and stuff, because, you know, you don't want people falling over.
Drunk and stupid and
But
falling
you know, a lot of times in those buildings, you know, I've been to them, they're nice.
Yeah.
And I think maybe it's coming to you, maybe,
You know, rooftop, any big, like Nashville, I was there last year, the rooftop bars, oh my God, they're so nice.
They are.
And especially down there on the waterfront, you know, anywhere downtown would be really nice. I mean,
I always thought a restaurant on the 15th floor of the Renaissance building.
That'd be awesome. On the top, but it has to be on the top.
Yeah,
It's gotta be on the roof.
that's why I said the 15th floor.
okay.
I mean, even if you didn't go on the roof, because that might be a problem, because it's an older building.
Yeah.
But, you know, because you got all the utilities up there, you know, you didn't build that building for that purpose. But if you did the 15th floor,
Yeah.
say you tore it out the windows and made them, you could make them like, be able to open them and stuff. You could renovate it.
It was nice that, there, in Chicago, because you brought up Chicago, I was at this restaurant where you actually, I think it's is it John Hancock building?
Yeah.
Is that Chicago?
Yeah, that's the one.
They have a restaurant way up top, and you can actually literally look down onto the Navy Pier, and they do fireworks there every night.
Well, you know what's nice? I had coffee in the Hancock and the Willis.
Oh, really?
And you're sitting there up against the corner, there's no, just glass.
Yeah.
It's a little freaky, you know,
Yeah, it
you're
is.
sitting there.
Yeah, it
But
is.
what a feeling when you're sitting there, you know.
Yeah, you just look out and you can just, it's like you can almost like look out and look down.
You know, the best coffee I ever had, thinking about that.
The restaurant was really, I can't remember the name of it, but this is about 8 or 9 years
Well,
ago.
Pittsburgh used to have the top of the, what do they call it, top of the world, or, no, that might have been New York. They had another term for the steel building in, Pittsburgh.
That down there.
They took that one out, you know.
The whole, with that vacant property and the GAF, those are potential gold mines, in my opinion, for mixed use investment. And I can't figure out for the life of me why these people won't do it.
Well, we're hearing different stories from different people.
Well, now that there's the LERTA, I think the LERTA will definitely help, but still, I go to, last 2 years, I've been down to the waterfront at night, hopping,
Well, it could be more hopping.
absolutely.
You know, the only thing that, when we have conventions here, that people get mad about.
We have no conventions.
Well, no, we have a few.
What,
We've had,
three? Two?
well, I'm saying.
Not
when-
even conventions.
Yeah, but when we do, and we've had a few, like, maybe during the course of the year, the biggest hangup they have, you know, we get feedback, is, when you go on a convention, you like to explore, okay?
Yeah.
You know, you have your meetings in the daytime, but at night, you know, people get together, they gather for dinner, and even like our League of Cities in Pennsylvania, you know, there's enough people that one or two restaurants can't handle it.
Yeah.
So what they do, they book around, what they like is stays within walking distance. In Erie, that's a problem, because you got the hill,
Yeah.
so you have to take transportation. It would be nice if you had more sloppy ducks down there, more
Yeah.
things. So I think that's where, you know, the waterfront has the
Well, that's what
ability.
you would have to, cause you got, right now, you have the water, you have the.
Smugglers,
You have Sloppy Duck, you have that one in the Sheraton, you have the Cove, you have Smugglers,
you have one in the
You
other
have the
hotel too,
dock.
don't you?
yeah, that's, I can't, that's
I
the
forget
Sheraton.
what that one's called.
Yeah, I do too, but
I
that's
mean-
nice too.
Yeah,
The Cove, you have the Smugglers, you have the Barge, and you have, Rum Runners,
but you know.
all packed.
But it's nice, you know, because if they all take, I remember the old waterfront was there, people loved that.
It's only 3 months out of the year though, that's the only bad part.
Well, you know, we make it that way.
No,
You know-
No, Mother Nature makes
Yeah,
it.
but in Chicago, John, the people have adapted to that.
Yeah, they have,
You know, we tend to be, and I'll say this about Erie people,
yeah,
you know, the snow comes out and we go, oh, we're done.
Yeah.
You know, you go to the library, right? It's snowy down there. Okay, yeah, yeah, you're not gonna be walking out there. But what's the difference if you're eating on the waterfront inside?
I wish where they could, you know how they're talking about redoing State Street to where it's like a pedestrian friendly
Yeah.
down, you know, instead of all the traffic. And somehow use that, incorporate that hill into like a winter solstice thing where people can come and do, sled riding and different wintertime activities.
Well, we could probably.
An ice rink down
You know,
there.
John brought up the fact they used to have the soapbox derby up there.
Soapbox, well, it's up on 38 now.
Did you? Yeah, now it is, but in the old days, he said it was down there. I remember one year it was at Liberty Street by the Sacred Heart.
Yeah, those type of things. And
Here, how about the zoo? I looked at the master plan of the zoo.
Yeah,
What happens to the zoo in winter?
shuts down.
You know what they said? The master plan?
What?
I was reading it the other day. I had a little to do, so I was just looking through it. They want to have a winter zoo and have some animals, and they suggested this. I'm not saying they can pull it off.
Yeah.
They'd like them to get another polar bear, some elk,
Yeah,
some animals that are winter animals,
yeah,
and then put an ice rink there
yeah,
in the middle of that big courtyard.
yeah,
Put an ice rink,
uh-huh,
not just Glenwood,
right,
but a nice outdoor ice rink.
yeah,
And say, have people go there for outdoor activities. In Pittsburgh, they take a fountain, right, at PPG Square.
yeah.
And my daughter used to go down there.
And they turn it into an ice.
Yeah, they have a rental, somebody sells hot chocolate, another person sells.
I wonder what insurance would this city incur, have to, in order to have an ice rink? 'Cause
Well,
that's-
we'd be
you're
self-insured,
dangerous.
so,
You're dangerous.
well, what you would probably do is you would farm it out to someone. Well, I mean, how much
Then
liability?
it wouldn't be free.
Well, how much liability does? Well, if you wanted free, yeah, I mean, I guess it's like anything else,
Yeah,
there's a risk with anything you do.
yeah, but especially ice skating, I mean, ice skating, people fall
But
and
so many,
fall backwards, and the next thing you know, they're dead.
well, what do they do in Rockefeller Square?
They,
Hey, what do they do in
I
Rockefeller?
bet you
Square?
NBC insures that, I'll bet you.
Somebody, but,
I bet you NBC insures it. Somebody's gotta pay insurance on that.
I mean, what is it, I don't, even if you had like a small fee,
I mean, I'd like the idea of having,
even if you had a small fee,
using the State Street Hill, you have your but having a pedestrian friendly type of, on the way down to the bayfront, where you can even do like trolleys up and down, or something.
they're talking about it, different things. There we go.
Go ahead, caller.
Hey, you're talking about ice skating rinks.
Yeah,
We used to have one down there by the ore docks.
You did?
Yeah.
Was it the city running it, or?
No, it was all of the kids from the neighborhood.
When John was talking about it, I remember when they used to take Burton Park and the city would flood it, the firemen would.
Yeah.
The city would put like some wooden forms in there, and I don't know, I guess, there's always a risk with everything, but,
everybody's looking to sue everybody nowadays.
Right down by the ore docks, so you could skate. We'd build a bonfire, we'd toast marshmallows, we'd skate and chew the fat.
wow, I never knew that one, John.
I mean, that's,
Oh, it's Polish, Italian, black, Irish, Russians.
yeah,
We had a great time.
yeah,
Probably did. My uncle told me they used to play like hockey on the bay and stuff,
yeah.
Yeah, we did that too.
Yeah, people don't realize before the Bayfront Highway, there was just an old dusty dirt road.
Oh, it was terrible down there.
awful.
I got pictures of it, what it looked like.
Oh, yeah.
I got a couple at home somewhere.
I mean, I grew up on these fronts, so I used to,
Train elevator, all the tracks down there behind the soldiers and sailors' home.
Yeah, it was ugly down there.
Pedelec
Oh, it
was
wasn't. It was great.
Well, I mean,
compared to now.
compared to today, it was just, what it was an industrial
It was
section.
an industrial area, right? It wasn't commercial or,
The sewage plant.
I kinda wish the sewage plant.
We should have the sewage plant open, John, well, you can't do it, but, freeze those, settling ponds.
I don't think so.
Take the two worst teams in the country and bring it, what do you think?
Yeah, right,
What, you mean the Yankees and the Indians?
yeah, right.
But no, that was a great time down there.
It probably was. Kids had like, I can remember kids made rinks in their backyard.
Yeah. Well, we used to take pieces of the old orange crates and put skates on them and use them, make them for the soapbox derbies, and we went and took the rags out of the brake cooling machines for the trains.
Yeah.
The light, that made a good hot fire for a couple hours.
You guys are very ingenious.
Well, we knew how, and just like all the old boathouses down along in there. That whole east lower bayfront there was the old boathouses from the old Russians, and there was Germans down there, and we had a great time.
Yeah, the kids kids today don't, you know, we had to make our own fun back then.
Well, the only thing kids do now is sit in front of a computer and don't even go to work.
Yeah, that's a sad part. I mean, I can remember my whole summer was pretty much playing baseball.
Well, we did that. In the summer, we worked too. We went out to Northeast and picked currants.
Well, in the city, we used to, like my buddy and I, we'd work, cutting grass or in the winter shoveling snow and stuff.
John said, you know, they're in front, I wasn't even allowed in the house.
No, we were.
So I'll see, be home when the street lights come on.
Your parents will look at you like you're not normal if you're sitting
Yeah.
in the house.
I know, what are you doing inside? It's nice out, go outside and play. Be home when the street lights come on.
That's right. 8 o'clock, you better be home.
Yeah,
We used to go down to the old neighborhood house and the gym and play games and everything else. And
Well, 5 o'clock, you'd hear the mothers yelling, and everybody
Yeah.
going, we can't leave the game now. We got another inning.
And when the street lights are on, you might have had a,
you go out with a cowbell ringing for the kids. And we still have the cowbell. So,
Wow.
well, I just thought I'd bring that up and let you know.
Hey, thanks, John.
Thanks for calling.
So what do you think about Lerda? I mean,
What do I think
I'd
about
say everybody
Lerda?
passed it now, so.
Yeah, I think it's, it'll help.
You know, I had a lot of people, I called them all back, I called everybody back, some didn't call me back, that complained, you know.
They don't understand
Well, I
the,
explained to them, I
Part
said,
of it.
you know, look, this is a gamble. It's a tremendous gamble. I know that doing nothing has got us nothing.
yeah.
Doing something still might get us
I
nothing.
mean, we have,
But we don't know that. We know what doing nothing has got us.
we have preferable bayfront, waterfront property that nobody would develop.
We're not even there. I mean, when was the last time in Erie? Think about this. When was the last time somebody like Walmart come in here?
No, never.
Has there been any, not
Never.
that
Oh,
chain
Family
restaurant,
Dollar.
not that chain restaurants are important,
Yeah,
but when was the last time you seen anybody,
a grocery store.
yeah, nothing. I mean, they're building in Harbor Creek, they're building in Summit.
Because our demographics, anybody that does a demographic study of the downtown area is not going to move
But I
here.
mean, in my area where you got people that got income,
Yeah.
they're making us go to Mill Creek or
Well,
Harbor
even
Creek.
Tops and up in your area is talking
And that was
about
built how
shutting
many
down.
years ago?
That's almost toast.
And that's how many years old?
That's been there for a while.
When I moved up in that area, we had five, maybe 6 grocery
Yeah,
stores.
yeah.
You're down to a couple now.
Tops and Walmart and that's
You
it.
got a couple on Buffalo Road now that
You
are
had the one
Perry
up on
Highway.
Green, up on, Grandview.
Yeah.
That's gone. Was that low, what was that?
That was low
Quality or low blows?
Low bloods and quality.
Yeah. Now we can't even get, we have the fresh fruit stand down, or is that still even open? I don't even know. Up the street here, the market.
Yeah, I think it is, but
I mean, we have that, we have,
all I know is it's a huge gamble, but it's one that I think I know what the past brought us, which is not good. Nothing.
well, you have a lot of people that are trying to tie different aspects to it. You have a lot of people that don't understand it. You have a lot of people that are under the perception that it's just a gift to the rich. You know, why are you giving the rich people any money, blah, blah, blah. You know, I do understand that aspect of it, but on the other hand, the rich people that are investing in these projects are local wealthy people. And these local wealthy people are actually, granted, they're not family sustaining, but family sustaining jobs aren't supposed to be what's going on the dock.
No.
We have industrial areas, we have other areas that need to be developed for those type of jobs. Now, on an alerta, nobody, what you need, you're not gonna see the money now, but I'm pretty sure the city has the didn't they start up a grant thing?
Yeah, we have a revolving loan fund, and we've been in fairness to Chris, we've been working on it.
Yeah, I mean, that's good stuff.
He's been trying to figure out ways to get more, and council gave him some more money.
Yeah.
You know, we did some things that, with the budget that, because long-term, you take little places, and I like to pick on little places. You take somebody like the breakfast place, okay? What makes them wanna stay? Okay, you know, they could have easily gone over the line, right? You got places now like little plazas people are starting to come back in. So let's just say somebody builds, you know, a little addition to their house, or that's gonna put builders to work. You know, the whole thing's gotta be about, how do we get our tax base increasing?
Yeah, one thing I don't understand about our city,
Yeah,
I was driving over, 12th Street, was it, no, 12th or 12th, yeah. There was an ambulance coming down the street. Was it 12th? I can't remember, but anyways. I watched this ambulance, I'm waiting for the light to change.
and it didn't.
It didn't change. And there's an ambulance stuck in traffic. An ambulance with the sirens going. Stuck in traffic to the point where it couldn't move.
Well, we had discussions, and I'm sure you're aware of it, you know.
Yeah, but what discussions? Big
Well,
deal.
no, we wanna move that forward about, we told the mayor that we, you know, and the COG has worked hard on this too. The other communities are going, you know, all the hospitals are in Erie.
Have they done anything to pitch in financially to help on it?
I haven't gone, next meeting I go to, I'm gonna talk about it, but there is grant money out there that, you know, that would help this. And the COG has worked to get that grant money, and, the city's got it, the city hasn't been, I won't say, Mayor Shemper, okay? The city in the past hasn't been real,
I mean, I was stunned.
real into it, but you know yourself, John, we were the first ones in the country to have it,
I was stunned.
and now we don't have it.
If my mother or father was in that ambulance and I was watching it stuck in traffic and because the emergency lights weren't
Yeah.
working, I would be losing my mind.
I think you're gonna see some movement on it, John, because, it was, you know,
Yeah,
council agrees. The administrations in the past weren't pushing as much, but with the COG now, COG, like I said, has got some grants.
yeah.
They wired up the county pretty good, but the city has never wanted to apply for them or go along with it, you know. So I think you have a different, you know,
Well, somebody's gotta start doing something.
Yeah.
I mean, I was stunned.
well, I agree with you, John.
What I saw.
I go, you know, when we were the leaders when I was a kid, we were the only one that had it,
Yeah.
us in another city. Now you go around, I mean, all your major cities have them.
Yeah, everybody's talks about it, but how do you not have emergency? Isn't that something that you would fix first? I mean.
You would think.
Before anything.
Well, I think when we're talking about the smart city approach, we've been talking about that.
Yeah.
And that is one of the things
Yeah,
that has to be addressed, because, like you say, you know, everything comes in the city of an emergency nature.
yeah,
Your hospitals are all, well, except for LECOM out there,
yeah,
all your hospitals, I mean, your VA,
right,
your Shriners, and the two major hospitals
right.
are in the city.
I mean, they need to, I mean, it's their business that they're driving them to. There's no reason why they shouldn't actually.
No, I agree with you, John, and I think, you know, council has so much on their plate right now, things that have been, what do you call, left to waste,
Yeah,
and it's gonna take a while to get them off the table, but
yeah. One more thing, Erie dates, have they announced who's even, it's like almost,
I don't think they did.
it's like next week. I mean,
Is it next week?
no, I don't know, no, it's
down.
middle of August,
Yeah.
but next month, 1 month away. They haven't, I don't think they've
Let's
announced.
make an announcement.
Oh, no,
Ready?
what's the announcement?
Appearing live.
Kaz Kwiatkowski band, or
No,
what?
Elvis Presley,
Elvis, and the Doors,
Jimmy Morrison,
and the Doors on Friday, Elvis,
Janis Joplin on,
and guess who Michael Jackson headlining?
yeah.
There you go.
What we'll probably get is Elvis's jacket, Jimmy Morris's,
Yeah,
microphone,
yeah.
Janis Joplin's, what do you,
There's
her
a
hat.
lot of good acts on tour this summer too, so.
Yeah, no, that's what we had a chance one time to get this,
Who gets them? Who goes out and books the acts?
well, in the past, I can't speak now.
Yeah.
When Joe was here, Joe 1, I call him.
Yeah.
We got Joe 1, Joe 2.
two.
Under Joe 1, they had a, agent,
A booking agent?
yeah,
kinda?
a guy that, you know, this mayor does it different than the other mayor.
Oh, does it?
So the guy that was working for, the guy here at City Hall that was doing it,
Uh-huh.
he was working close, and I knew the agent. And the agent was, he would give him some options,
Right,
you know, cause the big thing was, you can bring anybody you want.
It's the money.
Yeah, well, the timing and the money, because you got to get them, usually if they're on a tour.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to bring somebody in from the West Coast to here, you're going to pay.
Yeah.
But there's people that are touring, so he would give them the availability of, some of the groups, and then it was all about money. We had a chance one time, John. It was a Super 60 show.
Yeah.
It would have been great. I mean, they had some of these legends that were left.
Yeah.
They weren't the entire groups anymore,
Right.
but you might have like one Rascal, one Herman's Hermit,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's how they did in the
yeah.
past.
That's-
And what they tried to do was, John, they tried to get, under Joe One, they tried to get like maybe a country guy or girl,
That's what they did, was it last year? They had,
a rock and something else,
they had the dude from Styx Saturday.
and they tried, but
I'll tell you what though, that one country show last year,
Yeah.
Dan and Shay, that place was hopping, man. I've never seen a crowd like that.
but I think that's how they did in the past,
Yeah, that Dan and Shay, I mean, they're big now. I mean, they're young, they're big. I think they're like, they've won awards and stuff.
I'd like to see some of those, I like the old Motown sound, I wouldn't mind that coming
That's
back.
Friday.
Where?
That's Friday nights, at the Erie days. Fridays
Yeah,
is
but they didn't got anybody like coming in like the Shirelles or anything, what's left
the
of them, right?
Shirelles, are they alive?
Well, there's gotta be somebody,
Ohio
a couple of
Players,
them,
well, it was Ohio Players last year, wasn't it? Ohio Players, dude from Styx, Dennis DeYoung.
See, those are all, for me, those are like young kids.
Well, they're old people to me, but I mean, Dan and Shay on Sunday. The one thing that I really kind of miss is the fireworks on the end of Erie days. I know it's cool, the 4th of July thing.
Yeah.
That was cool.
What comes down to money, John?
I know, but man, I mean, that was the topper of it, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but just the end of the, just signify, this end of the celebration for our city. The fireworks, I mean, I wish they should have done it on Saturday, actually, and then,
Maybe I'll bring my old artillery group.
I mean, we were smart enough to literally do the fireworks on the 3rd.
What if we get my old artillery group to come in?
Why don't you get
We'll
some,
fire a few star shells up there.
why don't you donate your salary from the city treasurer's position and
You know what that'll buy?
some snakes. Remember,
I'm not
those
gonna tell
things
you. I'm not gonna
you
tell
throw
you.
them down and go, pop.
I'm not gonna tell you where I saw it, but it wasn't an official
Yeah,
launching.
yeah,
But I saw some of the best fireworks
yeah,
in a certain neighborhood,
yeah, right.
and I'm not talking about.
Listen, I rode by.
I'm talking about big artillery.
Yeah, I rode by the 2nd Street Park, Bayview Park.
Yeah.
The next day, and I don't know what was going on inside the tennis courts and the basketball courts, but they left all the.
Debris.
Yeah, I'm telling you, they had one hell of a show there. Because I could tell you,
Well, we had one. They had
up there, these things were this big.
this one I was at. They had a drone up in the air taking pictures,
Yeah, I believe it.
but they had star shells. There's two people competing. They're going boom, boom, boom. The other one boom, 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 boom. And
Wow.
my grandkids are watching and all going, "Ooh,
Shock and awe.
Grandpa, where?" I said, "Well, they obviously saved up all your.
Yeah, right.
Maybe the neighborhood pooled their assets,
They pulled their assets, right?
because John, these weren't cheap.
Believe me. I
We're
sucked
not
up.
talking bottle rockets.
No, we're not talking sparklers. Cass, thanks for having
Hey,
me.
you gonna be back maybe next week?
We'll see what's going on. Probably. I mean, we live for.
Well, it's always fun with you, John.
Yeah, it's a good time.
And to our viewers,
Thanks for calling. We got to talk a lot to ourselves today.
yeah, but sometimes, the week you were gone, I was busy.
Yeah,
How were you last week?
we were kind of busy. Yeah.
Hey, it goes in streaks. I think everybody's kind of bummed out about the holiday.
Why they bummed
Well, I
out?
mean, it's a downer now. You're getting back to normal.
Yeah, right. Back to
You're
reality.
winding back,
Absolutely. Have a good week.
and we'll see you. Yeah, these guys were fired up. Man, I said, I don't know how much they paid.
You have been watching Taxpayers Hotline, recorded live from the fabulous city of Erie, Pennsylvania.